If I had a kajillion dollars, if I had a kajillion dollars, that'd be a lot of money. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and ridiculousness. And we have a movie review for you guys out there for a movie that's actually not coming out until this Friday, so a little bit early, and I think it is actually coming to select movie theaters, so you can go out, enjoy the movie theater if you'd like. And this movie is from Miranda July. It's a unique one, and it's called Kajillionaire. Two con artists have spent 26 years training their only daughter to swindle, scam, and steal until a charming stranger turns up, turning everything upside down. So is this new directed and written or screenplay by Miranda July movie, Kajillionaire, a must-see, one of the best movies this year? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know if you guys have already seen Kajillionaire. I think at Sundance earlier this year it premiered, or very much looking forward to this new Kajillionaire movie. Now let's get into some of the good. So straight up, I'm going to be honest, I am not too familiar with the previous work of Miranda July. You know, this movie, Kajillionaire, is directed and written by her, so I'm not too familiar kind of with her style, but I will say that this Kajillionaire movie is unique. It is sort of this mixture of a couple different genres in this almost unconventional way that seems to blend together in, again, a unique way. It works pretty well. It's sort of this satire, con man, you know, heist type movie with a coming of age thing, but also someone becoming their own person, someone stepping into their own skin for once finally, rather than looking outside in. It is, again, this unique blend of these kind of genres, essentially, of this family of a father, daughter, mother, of essentially just barely getting by on the streets, you know, running these small cons, doing these things, scamming people, essentially, in this almost satire way. Like I said, it's very sad and emotional at certain times, but they play into kind of the satire or the comedic side of everything, where they have to, for example, they have to go into the place that they're renting, and they have to scrub these pink bubbles off the wall, and you know, watching the movie you figure out why this is a thing, but it's very goofy and weird, but it's almost like a day-to-day, oh, this is our life, you know, we have to go back into this like abandoned office building that we're living in and scrape off this pink suds and whatnot. But aside from the unique nature of this movie, that I think, again, all of those, you know, the coming of age, the con man story, and the kind of becoming your own person very much worked. I think it's the portrayal, the people, how these characters were written and portrayed is what really solidifies this movie. I mean, Evan Rachel Wood, who, again, I am not too familiar with her previous work, she is almost unrecognizable as this 26-year-old old Dolio character. The name is very obscure, fitting with the parents and whatnot, but she is by far the center point of this movie. This is her story. And as this kind of monotoned, you know, hunched over, long-haired, very kind of wearing a tracksuit, oversized clothes, this is a character that you immediately gravitate to because you're like, what is going on with this character? And the more the story unfolds, you find out that she was essentially raised in this very unconventional way on the streets, almost like raised by a pack of wolves. And then when she finds someone else, it's kind of like, hey, this is society, this is life, this is normal. So Evan Rachel Wood is phenomenal, but Richard Jenkins and Debra Winger, I believe, as the two parents, they add, again, kind of a weird aspect, a comedic aspect, almost this manipulative parent angle that you can see. The more that they interact with their daughter and with other people, you can find out that they are very much, again, they raised her in this manipulative environment, so her life is essentially a lie. And there are some very powerful scenes with the parents in specifically someone else's home, and they're pretending to do something, and you can see that the light, the almost, there's a whole different world out there in Evan Rachel Wood's character's eyes that is, again, heartbreaking, touching, and almost inspirational to be like, oh, go off, be your own person. So the parents are great, but I think another, the standout, or the yin to the yang, is Gina Rodriguez. She is almost this witty counterpart, almost like a protagonist and antagonist at the same time. Really, it depends which characters you're looking for, and I think that they all come together wonderfully. Again, her dynamic with Evan Rachel Wood is wonderful, because it's very much kind of this cheeky, like, oh, you don't know what this is? Here, I'm going to show you this thing. And they come from different perspectives or different lifestyles, essentially, so they're learning from one another. And man, this was, again, a wonderful story, and I think that there's even more to kind of peel back of the layers of messaging and whatnot about, you may grow up in this kind of, tunnel vision, but there's so much more out there. There's so much to experience, and just talking with someone else or being in someone else's shoes, essentially for a day, opens up your world to so much more. And I think that is kind of like a kid in a candy store, a kid being off on their own for the first time. That's what this story is, essentially Mowgli coming from the jungle back into society. However, Kajillionaire, there was just something missing for myself. Again, I am not too familiar with Miranda July's previous work, so maybe some of the more obscure kind of random scenes in this fit her style, because there are some obscure kind of out of nowhere scenes that I didn't entirely see how they connected. So maybe for myself and others out there, that might not connect as well for yourself. But then I think the very end of the movie, it ramps up to this certain point that I think entirely lost me. And maybe it's the thing that the last bit wasn't clearly spelled out for me. Essentially, the last 10 minutes of the movie play out in this beautiful way, but it doesn't feel like it was entirely earned, spelled out. I didn't see it coming. So maybe that's on me, maybe that's a surprise of the film. But I think that the last 10 minutes really kind of took me out of what I was really loving about Kajillionaire, and the messaging, or a bit of what the film was really going for, felt like it got a little bit muddled. Overall, Kajillionaire is, again, this weird mixture of genres that very much worked in this beautiful way. With it, again, having this wonderful mixture of genres that work wonderfully. Miranda July adding great personality and style to these characters through the writing and portrayal, great performances, and almost this messaging of think about life from someone else's perspective, but with a few aspects that were a little bit obscure that took me out of it, and then an ending that I think maybe muddled a little bit of the previous parts of the movie. I'd recommend checking out Kajillionaire. This is a movie that I had been hearing a lot about. It has great reviews. I am right there as well. I am raving about this movie. This was phenomenal. This was a unique kind of smaller movie into the personal story of someone and their family. In closing, I'm going to give Kajillionaire 4.2 out of 5 soapy suds. So what did you guys think of Kajillionaire? If you've already been able to see this one, looking forward to this, or haven't a damn clue what this movie is, I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways, though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there, or right over there, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. I'm not entirely sure what's coming the next couple days. I think Friday I have a Netflix review, so stay tuned for all of that. Otherwise, follow all of my social media down there to stay up to date on everything on JBuck Studios. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.